Picture this for a second. Quiet city, students walking, tourists taking photos, a place of worship sitting there, minding its own business. And somewhere behind the scene, according to the state, a plan so serious that the word terrorism gets spoken out loud in an Irish courtroom. Now whispered, not hinted, said clearly on the record. And suddenly everyone stops and asks the same question. How close was this? Because today a man has been charged over what the courts describe as a cross-border terror plot to attack a mosque in Galway. Bail denied, public safety flagged, and the guards, they are taking this very seriously. So yeah, this one isn't background noise. This is the kind of case that snaps people awake. Let's slow it down and walk through what actually happened. Galway is a city known for music, students, tourists, rainy streets, and long conversations over coffee. Not exactly where people expect to hear the word extreme right wing's terrorism investigation, but that is exactly where this story lands. In court, a 38-year-old man stood charged in connection with an alleged plan to attack a mosque in the city. The case is being handled as a terrorism investigation, not a threat, not online talk, not someone saying something stupid and drunk. The state is calling this an alleged plot, and that's matter. Because in Irish law, terrorism charges are not thrown around casually. They come with heavy oversight, special courts, and intense scrutiny. When the state uses that language, it means investigators believe there was intent, preparation, and risk. And according to what was outlined, this was not contained within one country. This is where the cross-border part kicks in. The court heard that the investigation involved elements beyond Ireland, meaning information, movements, or communication cross borders. That instantly raised the stakes. Cross-border case bringing cooperation, intelligence sharing, and a very different level of concern. And this is where the guard stepped in hard. The man was brought before the court and charged. The prosecution objected strongly to bail, and the judge agreed. Bail was denied. That decision alone tells you a lot. Judges in Ireland don't deny bail lightly, especially before trial. To do so, the court must believe there is a serious risk to the public, risk of interference, risk for further action. And in this case, the court sided with the prosecution. So, what tipped this from worrying to urgent? According to what was outlined in court, the investigation is linked to alleged extreme right-wing theology. That phrase matters because it frames how the guards interpret motive, planning, and potential escalation. This was not described as a random anger, not a lone argument. The state presented it as an ideologically driven. An ideologically driven violence is treated differently because history shows it rarely stays small. Now, let's talk about the timeline because this didn't just appear overnight. The case being in court today means weeks, possibly months of behind the scene work. Surveillance, intelligence gathering, statements, cross-border communication, quiet checks that most of us never seen. This is the part that never makes movies, but it's where real cases are built. Someone notices something or multiple somethings. Messages, associations, movement, online activity, contacts, enough pieces that, when put together, made the guards say, no, we need to move. And they did. The man was arrested, charged, and brought before the court. The details presented were serious enough that bail was refused outright. That refusal sent a message not just to the accused, but to the public. Now, what about the mosque? Importantly, there is no indication that any attack actually occurred. No injuries, no damage, no public incidents. And that matters. This case is about prevention, about stopping something before it happens. That's why public reaction is split between relief and fear. Relief that nothing happened, fear because something almost did. And for communities, especially Muslim communities in Ireland, that lands heavy. Places of worship are supposed to be safe, quiet, protective. When a court hears allegations of a planned attack on one, it shakes trust, it creates question, it makes people look over their shoulders. Community leaders often speak about how these cases ripple outward. Even without an incident, the fear is real. Now let's talk investigation details because this is where the guards earn their paycheck. The case involves guard-linked investigative work, meaning specialized units. Terrorism cases are often involve detail monitoring, digital analysis, interviews, and coordination with other agencies. Nothing flashy, just relentless checking. Who did you speak to? What did you search? Where did you go? Who else was involved? And here is what matters at this stage. The case is at the charge level. Allegations are being tested in court. The accused has not been convicted. The legal process is just beginning. No speculation, no internet detective needed. The facts are enough on their own. A man charged, an alleged plan, a mosque named, bail denied, cross-border elements confirmed. That's serious stack of facts. Now, here is the turning point moment. Bail. Where the defense saw bail, the prosecution objected strongly and the judge listened. That's the moment where the system says this is not going to be handled quietly. From here, the case moves slowly but firmly. Further court dates, evidence review, legal arguments, and likely more reporting as details are allowed to be discussed publicly. And that's why this story has what journalists call national headline DNA. It has public safety, it has ideology, it has court drama, and it has fear, even if nothing happened. Those cases don't fade fast. For Galway, this is unsettling. For Ireland, it's a reminder that extremism is not something that only exists elsewhere. It can appear quietly online in private conversation, and it doesn't always announce itself loudly until the state steps in. The community impact is real. Mosques increase awareness. People talk. Local leaders reassure, and the gods remain visible even if quietly. And that's the strange part. The most important success here may be that nothing happened. No sirens, no emergency call, no tragedy. Just a courtroom, a charge, and a hard stop. That's prevention, and prevention really gets applause, but it's matter more than anything else. As this case continues, facts will come out slowly, carefully, through court proceeding. Until then, all we know is what has been presented under oath in public by a reputable source. And honestly, that's already enough to make you pause. Because the scariest stories are not always the ones that explode. Sometimes they're the ones that almost did. If you want fast updates on Irish true crime, subscribe. We cover everything before it hits mainstream headline. Thank you.